welcome to Political Hour right here on ComfortTV.channel. It's another insightful time on TV talking politics and what's happening in the Nigerian political space. My name is Faith Kevin, and today we're exploring a development that has stirred international attention and provoked serious questions of diplomacy, sovereignty, and security. Recently, U.S. President Donald Trump publicly threatened that the United States might deploy troops or conduct airstrikes in Nigeria if the Nigerian government did not act decisively against the killings of Christians in the country. And in response, the Nigerian government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu rejected the threat, emphasizing that Nigeria's sovereignty and its view that the violence affecting Nigeria is more complex than a unilateral religious persecution narrative. With us today to discuss this and unpack the implication of this moment for Nigeria, for U.S.-Nigerian relations, and for regional stability in West Africa is Mr. Chibu. You're welcome to Political Hour.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's a delight to have you. Remember to like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on future episodes. Now, digging into what we have for you today, Mr. Chibu, we want to ask you, how do you assess the legitimacy of President Trump's claim that Nigeria is failing to protect Christians and that the U.S. military action might be justified? I mean, in other words, is this framing accurate?
Well, Mr. Trump is not very far from the truth, because for you and I, we all know as a fact that this government, and indeed previous governments, have failed to protect Nigerians in their local communities, particularly coming from the northeast. The Boko Haram insurgency, a group, an Islamist group trying to carve out a caliphate from a sovereign state. Killing, maiming, destroying, looting, raping, and all of that. Now it has spread to the northeast. Bandits, they call it cross-border bandits, raiding communities, rustling livestock, killing, kidnapping. Then the middle belt, Benue Plateau axis, and down to southern Nigeria. Our highways are not safe anymore. I mean, people are kidnapped without let, without the feeling of any qualms by the bad guys. They just stop vehicles on the highway and kidnap people and march them into the forest. Then begin to demand a ransom in some cases, and in a lot of other cases they kill them. They just kill them in the name of we are kidnappers. We can do it because the Nigerian state has failed to protect its people. Now, narrowing down to the statement by Trump, it does. I mean, it's very clear that the target, by these Islamists, you don't have any Christian group engaging in the killings, in trying to carve out a portion of the country. You don't have. It's all Islamist group doing this mayhem, killing, and the target usually Christians. Look at the Boko Haram issue with the Chibok girls. They were all Christian girls. Look at the Dapchi. Have we forgotten so quickly? They were young Christian girls, and when they catch these young girls, in a lot of cases, they force them into marriages, to marry the Islamic commanders, the commanders of those violent groups, and they make them, leave their family at such tender age, and for a lot of them, they never get to see their families again. I mean, how more can you put it, as Mr. Trump has placed it so clearly, that Christians are targeted? And it is true, Christians are targeted.
So churches are bombed. In the fact.
There's none. The churches are bombed. Some will argue even mosques are bombed. The moderate Muslims are equally targeted. But who are those perpetrating these acts? They're mostly, if not all through, Islamic, Boko Haram, no to Western education, no to Western values, no to Western education. That's what Boko Haram means in a loose translation. We don't want anything Western, anything that has to do with Western education or training.
Christians are Western.
Of course, we embrace that.
They're embracing Western values.
Education values, and all of that. So they don't want any of that. So if you subscribe to that, you're a target.
Okay.
So Mr. Trump is not far from the truth. He is on point. Let's not dilly-dally about it.
All right, but from Nigeria's perspective, how does this threat challenge its sovereignty, and its diplomatic standing? Because if you look at it, what precedent would it set if a foreign power were allowed to intervene in an African state under such moral security pretext? Because it's looking like a pretext, like it's not the real deal. Maybe they were looking for a chance to just...
you see, we can talk about sovereignty and all of that for all we care. But sovereignty is not absolute. If you're a sovereign state, then you have the responsibility. That sovereignty gives you the responsibility to protect your citizens.
Most definitely.
Protect them, secure them, provide for them. Is the Nigerian state doing that in this context? Look at Benue Plateau. It's become like the killing fields. Virtually every other week, every other month, we have mass burials going on with that axis.
And it felt like there was a kind of silence for a time being.
It's been, the authorities have not spoken up against it. They have not risen up against it with the might and the authority of the sovereign state. Now, and you see, the international community, when you talk about sovereignty, you'll be made to understand that, you see, there is permission for members of the international community to intervene in any sovereign state to protect the human lives.
Okay, not particularly the U.S.
Not particularly the U.S. And what are we even talking about? The extent of your sovereignty is the ability of you as a nation to defend your sovereignty. If you don't have that,
protect your citizens.
Yes, if you don't have that authority, that might, if you cannot exercise it to protect your citizens and to defend your territory against aggression from external forces, then your sovereignty is questionable. What are we even talking about? Was Iraq not sovereign when America invaded? Was Iran not sovereign when recently Israel invaded with their aircrafts and went to clear security threats in terms of nuclear weapons facilities that Iran was building? And Israel said, no, it's a threat to our own security, so we can't have it.
Yes.
And they moved in and they bombed and destroyed those sites. Is Iran still not there? What about other nations? What about Libya? Muammar Gaddafi, not too long ago, America and some members of the European community intervened and got him out of office. So sovereignty is not absolute. You cannot claim because I'm sovereign, then anything can happen within my territory and the rest of the world should just look away. Keep quiet, don't talk about it. No, it doesn't work that way.
Much more world power like the U.S.
No, you cannot. And Mr. Trump, when I heard him say that, within me I thought, I wish Trump would act as much as he speaks. Trump talks. He talks.
Yeah, I think I've heard idle statements from some persons.
Yeah, he talks and he doesn't hold back.
And there's this clip that was leaked on social media where some army officials were talking, some security officials from the U.S. were talking, and they were pointing at the Nigerian map, and I could hear some saying Abukuta and all of that. So I said, please, you have the places, the locations wrong. They should not, we don't want to hear collateral damage.
And all of that.
So maybe that might be the fear of some persons. Like, what if this goes out of proportion and innocent people get in the line of fire?
The fear of collateral damage will always be there. But let's not forget that there have been a number of occasions when American citizens were kidnapped in Nigeria. And the American forces from wherever, from Europe, wherever they are, intervened, came into our territory and neutralized those who kidnapped those persons and rescued their citizens. Wow. It has happened. So what are we talking about? We're talking about sovereignty. We're talking about, come on. Apply your sovereignty to protect your people first. Stop the killings. It's gone on for too long. Tens of thousands of Nigerians have been killed. Christians, yes, Muslims, and others. And no justice for them. They are killed. Nobody's arrested. Nobody is questioned. Nothing is done. They're just buried, and it ends there. No, it is wrong. Human life is sacred. You can't be treating human lives as if it's just insects that are killed. Even insects have the role to play in the ecosystem, to balance the ecosystem. You don't just wipe them out like that. Not to talk of human beings, and it's gone on for so long, and somebody's talking about a sovereign state. Now, help is on your way. Why don't you call for help? If you're not able to do it as a nation, as a sovereign nation that you claim to be, call for help. Let those who know better about security come in and assist you. And stop. What we need for to happen is to the killings to stop. It shouldn't go on.
All right, on to the next question we have for you. I mean, if we look at the complex mix of insurgency, communal clashes, resource competition, and the religious violence in Nigeria, how should Nigeria's government prioritize its response? Is the religious victim narrative now overshadowing the deeper structural causes of violence? And if so, what's the consequence?
Oh, the thing is that, our government, in terms of governance, has not risen to the responsibility of caring for its people as it should. Of course, you have communal clashes. You have religious, issues with the fundamentalists who think that they alone should exist. So when anything happens that is against their religion as they perceive, they go after others of other religion, as the case may be. Meanwhile, this nation should coexist. Citizens of this nation should coexist. And there have been times way back when citizens of these nations coexisted without these issues. Without these issues. So why must Nigeria is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, as the case may be, society. Predominantly Christians and Muslims and other, religious practices. But then, within the Nigerian context, everyone who is a citizen here is a Nigerian first. Is a Nigerian and has that need to be protected by the government. So the government should have fashioned out ways to ensure that every citizen lives in peace. Any citizen whose rights are violated within this context of religious, ethnic, should be protected. Justice should be served. You don't just allow people to be killed and you don't serve justice. How many times have we heard that the sponsors of Boko Haram, the sponsors of bandits, the sponsors of the terrorism and all of that they are known? In immediate past government of...
there have been some serious allegations that people in the place of power could be financing this...
Even under President Jonathan, ex-President Jonathan, I remember vividly that he mentioned that, look, security reports have revealed that even in his government, there are people who are sympathetic to the cause of Boko Haram.
Hence the suggestions of amnesty for these persons and...
Do you grant amnesty to criminals?
And all of those talk that people found very, very...
What does our law say about criminals and criminal activity? Banditry is a criminal activity. Why don't you apply the laws of the land? And
is it maybe the only way to get or guarantee peace is to bring them into society and,
Okay, ever since they started that process, how well has it served the society? Has it stopped? Rather,
maybe
it's gone up.
Maybe the backlash caused them to stop, because I've not heard any reports of anyone being granted amnesty recently. Rather, we have new groups
you see,
that we can even keep track of, showing up every other day.
Before it was Boko Haram, now you have ISWAP, Islamic State, West Africa Province. You have bandits now. Before, bandits were not there, but now they have become so very common in the northwest, in Zamfara, in Sokoto, in parts of Kano, in Yobe, and all of that. They were not there before.
And then what's happening in Benue with the communal clashes?
It's not even communal clashes. Herdsmen attack communities.
Okay.
Attack communities and kill members of communities who lived in those communities for millennia. Try to flush them out of the communities to take over natives of those areas. That's what happens. And now we're talking about amnesty. You grant amnesty to criminals. You embolden criminals and terrorists when you begin to, the state should come down forcefully with its might.
Like this is no tolerance.
No. What are the laws? But the bandits are killing people in their villages, in their communities, and you're talking about granting them amnesty. Now, state governors, local government chairmen, even the government at center invite leaders of bandits and their groups, and they come to dialogue with arms. When even the security agencies of the nation are told, members are told to keep their arms. But bandits will come there armed on motorcycles, well-heeled, well-armed, to negotiate with government. You see, you weaken your position as a sovereign nation when you take these steps. You don't treat that which is evil with kid's glove. You don't do that, because otherwise your nation would weaken, your government will be weak, you'll be confused, you'll be directionless, and those bandits will be emboldened to do more, to do worse, to demand more. Look at them invading our highways. We can't even travel on the highways anymore. They just come on the highways, they stop vehicles, they shoot those they want to shoot, and just collect people and move into the forest. So it is the approach. Our government should have known that their approach so far is not working. For them to change approach, not even to change approach, do the proper thing. Do the proper thing. Don't encourage them. Make them account. Hold them accountable. Let them be punished. They have committed crimes. They have killed, and they continue to kill. Then you're talking about amnesty. You're talking about negotiations. Then you claim, Buhari's government claimed they had a list of those who are sponsoring terrorists. Did anybody get prosecuted? Was anyone mentioned? Did they release the list to the public for us to even know those who are perpetrating this crime?
Yeah.
No, it was not done. It was not done. And it continued. So you embolden them and their sponsors until their sponsors are caught, exposed, and punished. Probably those in the bush, the foot soldiers, may not fear. They may not fear. In fact, they will not fear because they are emboldened. So the approach is negative. It's not giving any positive results. It has made the nation more insecure. More groups are coming up. Our borders are not protected. Sometimes they operate within Nigeria and cross the border and escape. And these things continue. We have all the security agencies, the border security agencies, the customs, we have the immigration. How are our borders not protected to the extent of not allowing foreigners to invade our nation and destroy our people?
Well, you're still on to Political Hour right here on Comfort TV, the channel. We have Mr. Chibu here, and we're dissecting and trying to make sense of Nigerians' reaction, especially from the presidency, the reaction to the President of the United States, President Trump. We're trying to make sense of his threat and the reaction from the Nigerian president. Of course, I think there's an ego play here, more like I'm in the presidency and someone else is saying they want to come into my house and put things in order. I'm thinking there's an ego shield here because Nigeria is insisting that we are a sovereign state and we definitely can handle our own issues. Of course, with China lending in their voices to say you cannot just step into a sovereign state and dictate things. All right, we still have more to be discussed here. All right, now we're moving on to discuss the ripple effect of the U.S.-Nigeria relations after this whole intervention and confrontation that's going on right now. Because if you look at it and look at Nigeria's place in the West Africa, we've got some respect, we've got some reputation to protect. I don't know what this means for our alliances, our defense, our partnership here on out, and what message this will send to other African states, because as I know it, the time frame Trump gave is it elapsed or even almost elapsing, and it looks like it might be inevitable that Trump would definitely have to intervene.
Let's not forget that when President Buhari was in power, now late President Buhari, he went to the White House and Trump pointedly told him, stop the killing of Christians in your country. 2018. Told him that, stop the killing of Christians in your country. What does that tell us? They've been following the situation for quite some time.
Of course, it's not going to.
So what are we talking about? Now we're talking about our respect in West Africa, the big brother, the giant of Africa. What do you really mean when you cannot put your house in order? You're talking about ego. You are the one that allowed Trump to talk to you the way he did, to talk about you the way he did. Because if you had organized yourself as a big brother, as a giant of Africa, as the one who has all the respect in West Africa, probably this wouldn't have happened. If you had protected your citizens, if you are taking charge of your territorial borders and all of that, you managed it, you are sure of what's going on, you account for what is going on in your country, probably you wouldn't attract this level of denigration.
Yeah.
You wouldn't attract it. And you cannot talk about Nigeria and the United States for goodness sake. The United States of America is a superpower. That's
what I'm saying. Can we afford to make an enemy out of the United States?
We shouldn't.
All in the name of defending our honor.
We shouldn't.
Because some of the politicians, or should I say senators, who have responded, they've, in quotes, sounded really not so polite.
Well, they can talk. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. By the time it's time to display your power, then we'll see who calls the shots. Nigeria cannot afford to quarrel with the United States of America. We cannot afford it. Like I pointed out, America is a superpower. What we should be seeking is to benefit from their superpowerness.
So we should see this like a help. It's not something to be annoyed.
I said it earlier.
Or be angry about.
Long before now, knowing that we cannot contain, we cannot manage this security, we should have asked for help. And we should have been sincere, because one major problem that has allowed the insecurity to escalate is a lack of sincerity of purpose. A lack of sincerity of purpose. Recently, the government of Nigeria changed the security chiefs. Why did we do it?
That is, they said that move should have let us know that they were already doing something about it. So Trump coming in at the last minute to say, hey, I'm invading. Hello, we just changed our service chiefs. Isn't that a good move?
Look, the diplomatic niceties, we should just stop it. Nigerians are being killed on a daily basis. We should stop that. and be sincere.
Because all we've got from the service chief are statements and tours.
Talk is cheap.
Touring.
We've had talk all this while.
A lot of them are touring certain crisis-prone areas, and we're getting reports.
It's not about the tours. It's about your boots on the ground, preventing those attacks from happening. We should be proactive in our security approach, not reactive. They are too reactive.
These tours and reports you're receiving right now, you're already in the system. I'm sure these reports might have been going through you, or if not on your table before you were made a head. So what other reports? I don't know. I was hoping to ask. Maybe this is additional.
They would know better. They've been in the system. Those who are the service chiefs now were commanders.
That's what I'm saying.
Before they became service chiefs. So they know these things.
So what tour are you touring and what reports are you gathering?
So maybe post-touring. Going through the motions. It's easy to go through the motions to look like you are doing something when really, I mean,
you might not be doing much.
The more we look, the less we see. The more it looks different, the more it stays the same, and even gets worse.
Okay, that's a new one.
So it's about security, and the first thing in a nation is security. The first thing, by the time you finish this program and you step out, security. You hear a gunshot at the gate, you run back. You don't want to move any further because the security of life and property is paramount. For a sovereign state, you protect people. These people have been in their communities for hundreds of years. Suddenly, they are attacked. Men, women, children smashed against a rock, killed, raped, their farm burnt, their crops trampled upon by herds of cattle, and they are not compensated. Nothing happens. No justice. No justice. Look at the Americans. They will fly the whole of the American military into any territory where one American is being held hostage. They will move in.
Shows you how much importance.
How much they value. They don't mind spending $100 million to rescue that one American. They will prove it by their action. So it's not about talk. It's not about talk. You use your power and your sovereignty and that goal thing that you're talking about. Use it to protect the people of the country. Let us see it. Not the reports of caskets and coffins moving across the plains all the time of people who were murdered in their sleep. Murdered in their sleep, and they are going to be buried in mass unmarked graves. They are not even honored with a headstone to know who is there. Just mass graves, and people are buried. Churches are burnt. How many times are we regaled with the pictures of people worshiping in burnt out churches? Because some people have come to burn their churches and they are now worshiping in an open space. These things are happening. Let's not pretend about it. And the earlier we talk about it, profile solutions, the better for this nation, because the fabric holding this nation together is getting weaker and weaker by the day with this insecurity.
Can we tackle CAN, particularly this body, where I know the first time the attention was being drawn to delisting Nigeria as a country of particular concern, someone from CAN had already, called for that to happen before someone else from CAN again came to counter it, but not directly countering it, but sounding like he was kind of neutral, and we couldn't understand the tone. He had to even get backlash from people saying, what exactly are you saying? Someone from your body already said we should go back to being listed as a country of particular concern, but you're coming to say it's not that we're really, really being targeted. There's just general killings in the country and all of that. So I want to us to address CAN. Do you see that they don't have one voice, or could politics still be playing in that circle as well?
Well, politics is part of human nature. What is CAN? Christian Association of Nigeria. It is a body, assumed to be, an umbrella
supposed
body.
To protect the interest of Christians.
An umbrella body that gathers the interest of Christians and speaks with one voice.
Yes.
There are officials in CAN. There's CAN president, I remember, secretary, and some other executive position. The person who has spoken, I don't know where that person is coming from. But I believe usually CAN comes up with a statement when these kinds of things happen, and they have a common
That was
voice.
Like a response to that call.
Is that person in a position to respond? Is that person in a position to respond?
Yes. A higher authority than the previous.
In CAN?
Yes.
Well, I wonder what is going on. I don't know the.
That was why everyone got.
I don't know the details, but people,
Someone was trying to call for help. I think that was the first call for help.
So we need to look at that individual or those people who are speaking divergently.
There was actually a backlash from the presidency who said this statement is not really good, especially for the country, that such a person was citing wrong or trying to create a wrong narrative, and that this could be bad for business for Nigeria, especially as investor relations is beginning to increase because of the economic the economic increase. We're having good news from our economic side, especially with the naira dollar rate, stabilizing a bit. They say, why bring this up right now when it looks like we're having this? So that was like, let me save the situation. We don't want eyes on car.
We shouldn't speak tongue in cheek in this society. We shouldn't speak tongue in cheek. You say the economy is improving. Okay.
Yeah, Wale Edun tells us that every other time.
That's what he will say. That is his job.
Okay.
Whether right or wrong. Yes. So, I mean...
Lots of numbers.
When this president came into office, what was the exchange rate? When he came into office?
Close to 1,700.
Now, where is it?
1,004.
Where was it? Probably 300 naira when he came into office, just about less than 3 years ago.
But isn't that massive progress in a short time?
So, you see, let's not make light of very serious situations. Okay. Things are still very tough for Nigerians. The average Nigerian still finds it very difficult to feed. That is the fact of life. It's on the street. Go out into the markets and you can verify that. Mm-hmm. You and I shop from the same stores and the same market. You know what I'm talking about. So let's not try to make light of very serious situations. When things are going right, we would know and we will testify that things are going right. We're talking about foreign investment. Foreign investment when your people are being killed, they're being kidnapped.
It's more like put your house in order. Someone's trying to put out a statement that's going to really affect us, so save the day. And then that was when that statement had to come. And he couldn't outrightly say, no, they were not being killed, or yes, they were being killed. So he had to create a sort of balance, but it didn't work out. The statement said nothing.
There are public relations experts that are hired at times like this to try and manage situations. Public relations experts. And of course, they will come up with some of these models to try and manage the situation, make statements, speak very nicely.
A lot of Nigerians were disappointed
put out statements that are very nice, uninflammatory, not provocative and all that.
Use nice words.
Look at the situation on ground and speak that this nation needs help. This nation needs help. So it's not about, Mr. Trump. One thing you should know about Trump as a person, Trump is not very cute when it comes to expressing himself. Mm-hmm. He's very expressive. He says what is on his mind. That is his nature. Even Americans don't find it funny with him. But he's their president. They elected him for crying out loud. He is who he is. And who is he? American president. So he speaks what's on his mind, and like I pointed out, 2018 told President Buhari, stop the killing of Christians in your country. In the White House. We went to see him in the White House. And told him, stop. So they've been monitoring. He in particular has been monitoring the situation.
So he's particularly interested in this issue. All right, before we call it a wrap on the program, how do you think Nigerians are reacting to this invasion of Donald Trump?
Is it really an invasion?
Well, that's the adjective everywhere. Or should I call it an intervention?
Intervention.
Sounds more like.
To protect lives.
Yes.
When you say invasion, that is...
He was the one who used the word anyways. I'm going to invade the country.
Well, no. if you look at the context of his statement, you will see that he is particular. Look, Christians are being killed.
Yes.
Who are Nigerians, and we are intervening to stop the killings. It's particular.
And I'm going to withdraw... financial aid.
If Nigeria does not step up, the aid that Nigeria receives from us, we're going to stop.
And I'll step in.
And America provides a lot of aid for the country.
Don't you think our leaders should be more worried about that than saving face?
Well, you see, the leader wants to save face because he's in position. And to an extent, probably they've not really done what they should do. To the extent that they should do it. To protect lives. And ensure that Nigeria is secure. So it's not look, beyond saving face, this nation needs to be saved.
That's where I wanted to come in, because some of the persons are spoken to keep saying, this is more than just intervening to save us from hostilities and insecurity. They're hoping that when Trump comes, he's going to be their savior. Don't you think that's over-exaggerated?
You see, the statement from Trump, for me, should be a wake-up call for the leadership in this country. Should be a wake-up call for the security forces and services in this country to rise up and do their jobs.
Especially since sovereignty is very much important.
Yes. Rise up, do your job. When Nigerians report insecurity, take it seriously. There have been reports, quite often, if you followed it. A lot of the invasions of communities by bandits, herdsmen, and the rest of them, particularly in the mid belt, Benue, a lot of times in Plateau. There have been reports that before these attacks occur, people get wind of it and report it to security agencies. That look, this is the grapevine we are receiving. This is what we're getting that an invasion is building up. Certain elements are planning to attack this village or this community or this farm settlement or whatever. And they report such, they give such grapevine, and nothing happens. And at the end of the day, often from the reports we get, it goes on to happen.
Wow.
Intelligence is very critical. Acting on actionable intelligence is equally very critical. We're talking about being proactive and not reactive. Once a human being is killed, that person is killed, it's gone. But if you react to stop the killing in a community, in a village, then you have saved the day. Which is what we should be focusing on, improving in that area. Not all the back and forth.
So if you were to list out in practical terms what approach the government should take, well, what would you say it should be?
The security agencies should rise up to their responsibility. The government should ask for help. Humbly ask for help. Get equipment, get facilities, get intelligence, act on intelligence.
Weapons, I think the U.S. supply countries with weapons, so why can't they
prevent the killing of Nigerians, punish those who are caught, catch those who are responsible for these killings. Those that have been reported to be sponsors of these bandits and terrorists and and the rest of them who are causing these troubles, catch them, put them on trial,
and make sure they
let the sovereignty, the strength of Nigeria's sovereignty, come to bear on these people. If you don't punish crime, then there's no crime in your society. If you don't punish it, yes, where there is no punishment for crime, then there is no law. Anybody can just rise up and act, and that is what was in impunity on the parts of the bandits. They come to negotiations with arms within a sovereign nation. How more appalling can it get? And we're all looking at it, and people are not appalled. Bandits, non-state actors, are now more powerful than the state, as it speak. In the name of let us placate them and keep the peace. What? Have you kept the peace? Has that approach worked?
Definitely not. Yes, this is still Political Hour right here on Comfort TV, the channel. My name is Faith Cabin, and we've had Mr. Chibu here with us analyzing and assessing the recent, the recent statement made by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to come into Nigeria and do what needs to be done if the President, Bola Tinubu, will not step up to the occasion of stopping the killings of Christians, or should I say the alleged killings of Christians in Nigeria. All right, we want to thank you again for staying with us on this amazing edition. We hope to catch you in the next edition of Political Hour. Remember to like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next episode. Mr. Chibu, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insight with us. My name is Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.